At 1:30 a.m. on a warm spring night in 2012, Rekia Boyd, a 22-year-old woman full of dreams and potential, never saw the bullet coming. The night, which was meant to be spent with friends and laughter, ended with a single shot. A shot that would forever change the lives of her family, friends, and the city of Chicago. The night that should have been peaceful ended in a brutal act of violence, and Rekia's name would echo in the fight for justice. This is the story of Rekia Boyd, a vibrant young woman who was tragically killed by an off-duty police officer, Dante Servin, on the streets of Chicago. It is a story that goes beyond the violence that claimed her life. It's a story of systemic power, betrayal, and the long struggle for justice. Rekia Boyd was a young woman with a bright future. At 22, she had recently completed her cosmetology degree and had dreams of becoming a successful beautician. On the night of her death, Rekia was enjoying a carefree evening with friends in Douglas Park, a neighborhood in Chicago known for its vibrant community and lively atmosphere. Her friends remember her as someone full of life, someone who laughed easily and loved deeply. She had a bright smile and a heart full of hope. But what should have been an ordinary night out turned into an unspeakable tragedy. The events that led to Rekia's death began when a dispute broke out between Rekia's friends and an off-duty police officer, Dante Servin, who was also present at the scene. Servin, who had been drinking, became involved in an argument with the group. What happened next would forever change everything. Without warning, Servin pulled out a gun and fired a single shot. The bullet struck Rekia in the back of the head, instantly killing her. Her friends rushed to her side, desperately trying to help, but it was too late. Rekia Boyd, a young woman with so much to offer, was gone in an instant. As the gunshot rang out, the silence that followed was deafening. Rekia's family was left in a state of shock and disbelief. But what made this tragedy even more heartbreaking was the identity of the shooter, an off-duty police officer. Dante Servin, whose job was to protect and serve, had instead taken a life, Rekia's life. And what followed was a series of events that would reveal the ugly truth of how power, privilege, and corruption can turn a tragedy into a fight for justice. After Rekia's death, Servin was not immediately arrested. In fact, he was allowed to walk free, shielded by the badge he wore. For months, Rekia's family and the community waited for justice, but it seemed as though the system was determined to protect the very person who had taken Rekia's life. It took over a year before the truth began to surface. The legal system failed Rekia's family in ways that were hard to comprehend. Despite the overwhelming evidence that Servin had killed Rekia, it seemed as though he would never face the consequences of his actions. Rekia's family, however, did not give up. Rekia's mother, Tracy, became the voice of the fight for justice. She stood strong, demanding accountability for her daughter's death. Despite the system's attempts to silence them, Rekia's family continued to push for justice, knowing that their fight was about more than just Rekia. It was about making sure that no one, especially a police officer, could take a life and walk away without facing the truth. After years of waiting, Rekia's family finally got their day in court. In 2015, Dante Servin was convicted of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to prison. For the first time, an off-duty police officer was held accountable for a killing. But the victory was bittersweet. Rekia's family and many others who followed the case felt that the sentence was far too light. Servin was sentenced to only 4 years in prison, barely more than a slap on the wrist. The public outrage was palpable. How could someone who had taken a life, who had used his position of power to commit murder, face such a lenient sentence? But despite the flawed justice, there was something symbolic about the conviction. It was a small but important victory. It showed that even those who wear badges are not above the law. The irony of Rekia's case lies in the fact that Servin was convicted of manslaughter, but not murder. He killed Rekia, and yet the legal system treated him with leniency, as if his crime was less than what it truly was. But for Rekia's family, the fight was not over. They continued to demand justice, not just for Rekia, but for all those whose lives had been taken by police officers who thought they were above the law. They fought for accountability, for transparency, and for the truth to be heard. As the years passed, Rekia's family refused to let her memory fade. They kept her story alive, using it as a beacon for change. They stood as a reminder that the fight for justice is never easy, but it is always worth it. They knew that Rekia's death was not in vain, that her story would inspire others to stand up, speak out, and demand justice for all. Rekia Boyd's life was cut short, but her death sparked a movement. It became a symbol of the fight against police brutality, a reminder that justice must be served, no matter who the perpetrator is. Her family's fight for justice has become a legacy that continues to inspire those who believe in the power of truth and accountability. The life lesson in Rekia Boyd's story is clear. Justice is not always immediate, and it doesn't always come easily, but it can come. And when it does, it has the power to change everything. Rekia's death reminded us of the importance of standing up for what is right, no matter how difficult the fight may be. It is a reminder that justice is not a door that slams shut. It is a door that can always be propped open, and when it is, it has the power to change lives and communities for the better. Her life was short, but her impact was undeniable. Rekia Boyd's name will forever be remembered in the fight for justice, for the fight against police brutality, and for the fight to ensure that no one, no matter their badge or their power, can escape accountability for their actions. In the end, justice was served. It may not have been perfect, but it was a step toward change. And that is something Rekia's family can take comfort in as they continue to honor her memory. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future deep dives into the most shocking true crime cases. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more true crime cases that demand to be heard.